This month we're going to be checking in with some of our top athletes competing at the Paralympics, my Team Ireland teammates. It's all with thanks to Toyota and their hashtag Start Your Impossible campaign. Our next guest is Patrick Monahan, a T53 wheelchair marathon racer. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks a million, Ellen. Thanks for having me.
Is it weird being interviewed by an athlete?
It's weird when I seen you in the gym this morning. Now I'm talking to you over the radio, yeah?
What sort of session did you have today?
It didn't look as hard as yours, but then I had like the heat chamber, so pumping out with sweat in there, yeah. It's tough going, yeah. It's a sign of, I suppose it's what's to come anyway, so yeah, at least I'm getting it done and I'm trying to prepare as well as I can, but yeah, it's tough.
Is that how you are preparing for the heat in Tokyo? Just training in a heat chamber, trying to acclimatise as best as you can for that heat in Tokyo?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying as best as I can. I don't know if I am adapting. Some weeks I feel I'm doing good, and then other weeks I'm like dying after half an hour. But it's like, yeah, it's just like trying to prepare as best as I can. I know it's going to be really tough, so I kind of want to leave no stone unturned. And I suppose I stuck my head in there. Like, I don't know if you've ever put your head in there, but like maybe 3 months ago, I was like, I'll try this in a few weeks. And I put my head in and I was like, what is this? I better get in here soon. I'm not used to this, so pale Irish skin. But yeah, I think it's going well anyway. So hopefully it'll help when I get over there.
How long are you able to spend in that heat chamber compared to how long does your race last?
I don't like thinking about that because I've stayed in there for like an hour, and like I'm working hard in there, but it's like my heart rate will be high, but it's not as hard as the course is going to be, and I'm probably going to be out there like for 2 hours. So there's been sessions where I've been in there like for 40 minutes, and I'm like, if I stay in here for 2 more minutes, I'm gonna like pass out. I'm probably being a bit dramatic, like, but. And then I'm like doing the maths in my head and like, oh my God, I'm going to be here for like 3 times this. By the time I get to Tokyo, like including like being on the start line, warming up, it could be 2 hours. Like, so, geez, yeah, it's going to be tough, but it's definitely, I feel it's paying off anyway. So hopefully, yeah, I'm not until September. So I'm hoping by then I'm well acclimatized anyway.
How do you prepare in terms of like hydration? Like, do you have to prepare for that like days in advance, or is it the night before? You just have to make sure you're so hydrated before that heat chamber session.
Yeah, again, it's like completely different. Like, it's usually just like really like when I go to the marathons, like the major marathons, I'm probably there like 3 days beforehand, so I kind of start getting into like my hydration plan from then, making sure I'd be conscious more of what fluids I'm taking on board. And then the night before the race, like I definitely like be sipping away more. I take fluids during the night and that as well. I set my alarm, but I use a Camelback. So it's like, do you know like like for the guys that like do all the trekking and that, they have these backpacks with have like a bladder in them. So I basically take the bladder out of the bag. That's what I use in a race. I've never drank more than a litre, and like now I'm drinking 2 litres in 40 minutes, so it's like, how am I going to carry all these fluids, like because my Camelback only holds a litre, so and it's different than like the runners, because I'm wearing gloves with a closed fist. I can't stop on the side of the road and just take a drink, like, so I'm going to have to get a bigger Camelback by the sounds of it, but yeah, I'm probably going to have to bring at least 2 litres, and I'm not used to that at all. Like, so I'm trying to take more fluids on board, even in outdoor sessions, and at the moment than I normally would, because yeah, I'm going to need them. I might need a few of my teammates standing on the side of the road throwing cold water or something maybe over me.
Is there a certain point in the race or a certain point in training, maybe like, I don't know, 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, where you know, okay, this is the point where I take liquid in?
Not really, no. Like in the fitness park, I take it when I'm like going downhill. So it's generally like, I take it in when I don't have to be like pushing the chair, like, so, like, it's not a big effort. I'm only trying to get the straw into my mouth, but generally, like, if you're coming to like a steep climb or that, you'll try to take fluids in or take an energy gel, but there's no real set point. Like, some guys probably go into that detail, but I just take it as I need it, and that's the good thing with it. Like, I'm not stopping on the side of the road, so even if it's a flat surface, I can like sprint and just like put the straw into the straw thing into my mouth, like, so I'm not losing any time over it. But the energy gels are a little bit more tricky. I've often gone like a mile or two with it hanging out of my mouth, trying to open it, and then I drop it and say, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Or they fall out of the chair, and that's all. That's a little bit more, what would I say, sapping than the energy drinks. But yeah, no, I just take it when I need it. Like, that's the good thing about having it with me on board. Like.
And what sort of liquid do you carry with you? Is it just water? Is it Diorlite? Is it like a Lucasade?
I actually used to, like, up to before lockdown, before I changed coach, like, I would have got like a bottle of Coke the night before the race, and I would have like shook the fizz or the air out of it, like, and then I put flat Coke in. So if I was carrying a litre, I'd put like 250 mils of flat Coke in with 750 water. But I've stopped doing that. I'm actually looking over here now at what I use now. I use it's a carb drink, so it like has carbs in it, electrolytes. So it doesn't taste great, but if it gives me an energy boost, I'll bring it. So that's what I've been using. Yeah, that's what I've been told to use anyway. So I'm doing what I'm told. Yeah.
I've never heard of the like Coca Cola trick. Where did you get that from?
I don't know where I got that from. I can't remember who told me that. I was actually trying to think of that recently. I was kind of like, is that a bit of a mad thing to be doing? Like, but
does anyone else do it?
Someone else must do it, because I copied someone. So someone definitely does it. I honestly don't know who. It might have been one of the paracyclists or something like that. And I just said I'll try it, but yeah, I just make sure it's flat and throw in plenty of water. And I kind of felt like, yeah, because I get the sugar from it. So I was getting like a bit of a hit out of it, but
and the little bit of caffeine that's probably in it as well.
Yeah, probably a bit of caffeine as well. So maybe you need to leave a flat bottle of Coke inside the pool and see how it goes.
No, I actually I went to boarding school, and on my very last, it was like a swim boarding school, and on my very last day we had a session, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the Gatorade challenge.
No.
So basically in swimming it was like do 100 meters max, and at the end of every 100 meters you down a bottle of Gatorade, but instead of downing a bottle of Gatorade we downed a bottle of Diet Coke, and like you could see how you had to try and see how far you could get without throwing up. And I think I got like 3 in, and I don't know why that was a thing. I don't know why we decided that, oh, this sounds like a great idea, we'll do that.
So how would you even, like, geez, yeah, like drinking a bottle and then like straight back swimming? Like, I'm sure. Yeah,
it was literally just like get it in as quick as possible, and then like let the fizz bubble in your stomach while your race going as hard as you can. Let it mix with the lactate.
Did anyone get to like the 8 bottles? No. No.
I think I did 3, and I think the girl beside me did like 4, and then that was it. Like, we were done. So you never get like a funny tummy, from all the Coke you're drinking while you're racing.
I've never got a funny tummy, but I've had a couple of performances where like I take like a pre-trainer, and I don't know, it's like 1 in every, I'd say 50 times I take it. It's like I kind of have now I'm not getting sick or that. I would have a bit of a reaction or that, like, and I actually feel sick on the start line. But I've never felt sick during a race from. I actually like I generally don't like drink like it's a litre. I would often get to the end of the race and there could be half a litre left in it. Like, I probably should be drinking way more than I do. Like, I just to be so focused on the race that I only take it if I really need it. Where I should be taking it because. Yeah, I should be taking it. Like, so it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be a great person to follow now. In fairness,
is your nutritionist listening to this, thinking, "Oh my, please stop talking"?
I hope not. Yeah. I wouldn't mind actually. Yeah, my nutritionist was on to me about that that carb drink recently. And he was like, how much of that are you taking? And I was like, I'm taking like 1 scoop of it. I think it's meant to be like 20 grams. And he said, geez, that's a big scoop you had. And I said, oh yeah, and I took it out and I showed him. And then I read the back for it. I'm meant to be taking 4 scoops. So I haven't even been taking anywhere near. I'm terrible, like.
So now that you know how much carb drink you should be taking, you're going to be fine in Tokyo.
Yeah, at least now I know anyway, yeah.
Oh God. So back to preparations for Tokyo and training. What sort of adaptations, if you have to do any, do you need to think about as a person in a wheelchair in maybe the gym or training on the road?
For Tokyo, like.
Well, no, just as a person in a wheelchair, maybe as in terms of accessibility in a gym, is there certain things that you would need to do differently to other athletes in the gym?
I'd like to think not, like, and I think that's a good thing. Like, I try to keep it as like the same as the able-bodied people, really. Like, if I go to my local gym, it probably is a little bit more adapted, and I don't really like that. Like, having said that, I've nearly fallen off the bench, pulled up an inch shoot a few times, which is not fun. Like, but I generally, like, that's the good thing about doing like elite sport. And I feel like that if I wasn't like a Paralympian, I'd be going to my local gym, and I'd probably just be like doing like the way kind of the machines are set up. But I kind of like the way that in the institute like that. It's kind of made me realise over the last few years that like there's loads of exercises that I can do. I probably take it for granted now, where I don't even think about it like that I possibly thought that I couldn't do. So the only thing I would say, like for travel or for camps, is like it's great having that powerlifting bench. It's a little bit wider because my balance isn't great, and I've been on camp before where I've like nearly killed myself trying to do a bench press and the person with me. So that's the only thing really, like the weight of the benches. But and then like training on the roads, like I'm very lucky that I have good training facilities relatively close to home. Mandela, up till they opened after lockdown, how dare they do that? Like, I don't get in there anymore. And the Phoenix Park is fairly safe, so I wouldn't go out on the roads near home here. It's just too dangerous. Like, even for cyclists, I think it's mental. But yeah, I kind of feel like I never really think about it. Like, I just kind of look at myself as like, people probably don't look at me that way, like, but I'm just like the same as everyone else. Like, so
you just get on with it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't worry about it. Like, I don't worry about things like that. Yeah, it's just like I've just got thick skin. I think over the years, like, not that you shouldn't be with a disability. You shouldn't be turned away from anything. Like, but I've just got used to that. Like, you're going to come across obstacles, and it's just about getting over them. Like, so, yeah, no, things are just. I try to look at them as they're the same as anyone else, really. I don't know if that answers your question, or I kind of went off on a tangent.
Tangents are fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
just keep talking. It's fine. You did mention training in Mondale. How did that opportunity come about? Do you know what? I can't even remember. I live like half a kilometre away. Like, so it would have been in the back of my mind that it would have been a possibility for me to get in there. My uncle, I think, was friends with the manager, so that's probably where the first contact came. And my coach was over at the time, so he came down, drove around in the car, and I was like, oh, this looks quite easy. And then it was like, in the chair, it's a little bit more technical. So yeah, they've been really good to me. I'm a little bit slower than the cars going around there, but just a little bit,
just a small bit. I probably hold the record for the slowest lap, I'd say. But yeah, just because it was local and it's safe. I can wear headphones down there. I'm not worried about anyone being on the track, although I have been out on the track when a race car come around behind me. I think they know I'm there. I hope they know I'm there anyway, but they're coming quite fast behind me. But yeah, it's great to have it like that. Like, and especially like, because I'm in college as well, like, it's grand during the summer, like, but it's great to have it in the winter where I don't have as much free time. So I can nip down there and be back, like, on my laptop with snot hanging off my face.
Were you able to train as efficiently Because it's a lot flatter, isn't it? And you'd have hills and stuff in the marathon.
It is flatter, but it's actually, I was surprised. If I done like a marathon down there, I wouldn't be far off the timing that I do in close enough to the park, and the park is quite hilly. There's no like big hills, but like it's only when you're doing it in the chair, or probably like people running or cycling, like in the car it looks slightly like different. But like there's parts of the track that like there's one part that just like really saps the life out of me. Like it could go from, it's like a bit of overspeed, and then I have to turn, like, so I lose all my momentum, and then I'm gone like from 32 kilometers an hour down to like 6, and it's just like so like yeah, there's just little crests and that like, but it's good for technical stuff, or it's good for doing like speed work and that, like, or intervals. So definitely, yeah, it's, and then you get sick of it as well, and you get sick of the park at times too, so it's good to have the two of them, like.
That's good, a little bit of variety.
Yeah.
I can't even say that word. So sport is expensive when you're competing at the highest level, and obviously you don't use your everyday chair for your marathons. So like, how expensive would a racing chair be?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Like, actually, like, well, my one, some guys are using like crazy expensive ones, like, and I don't think they make that much of a difference. Like, they're full carbon chairs, so like they're done in laser tunnels and that. Like, a new one came out last week, Marcel Hug, a Swiss guy, like, they've been working on it for 4 years. Like, looking at the price of it, like, I think with the wheels you're probably talking anything between 35 and 40,000 euros. And a Honda have one like something similar, like, but my one is worth, like, a lot of people still use aluminium chairs, like 6,000-7,000 euros including wheels. Mine is probably worth 10. Japanese chair. At the end of the day, like, it comes down to the athlete, and it comes down to how well the chair fits you.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to another guy about that today. Like technology has moved on, but like the world record still stands from, I don't know, is it 15 years ago? Like, so they do look cool, and I wouldn't say no to one, but I wouldn't be willing to spend 30,000 euros on one. And the guys that are in them now are not going really any quicker than they were in an aluminium chair. And the good thing about an aluminium chair is it can be welded where you can't weld carbon. So you're always like worried when you arrive somewhere that the chair is going to be broke, and the airlines are pretty good at damaging equipment. So
is that something that would be in the back of your mind now when you're going away to competition, just always a little bit concerned that your chair mightn't come out the other end as it went in?
Yeah, or if your chair, especially if you have a couple of connections, like, because we're only there like a couple of days before an event, like, there has been guys where their chair just hasn't turned up, like, and that would be a nightmare. Like, so there's two scenarios, like, your chair is going to turn up in bits, or your chair is going to not turn up at all. I have a secure box. It's like the stairs that get going through the airport. Everyone's like, are they like, well, I think people ask me, are the golf clubs? And I'm like, I'm not going playing golf. Or it's kind of like a coffin. But it does keep the chair like pretty secure. The box, I think in 2019, got badly damaged, but that's what it's for. Like, the chair was fine, so the box can always be repaired where the chair can't. But yeah, it would be in the back of your mind that like the chair could be damaged, like, yeah. And
looking forward to Tokyo. This is going to be your second games, but your first games were in Rio, and my very first memory of seeing you in Rio was I was in the food hall and you were sitting maybe a few meters beside me, and you had just emerged from a quarantine because you had been locked up because you had been sick. What happened there?
I don't even know what happened. See, I knew that like the coronavirus was going to be around, so I've been practicing quarantine for the last 5 years. I kind of back then I was like, I visualised I'm only messing up, so I'd be well able for Tokyo anyway. I don't remember a lot. Like, I just remember, like, thinking back, like, I missed the opening ceremony because so we flew out with the athletic squad and everything was going grand for like the first week, and then like just one evening, like, I got a shiver, like, and I was like, it's really warm here, like, I don't feel well. I was put into quarantine because I had a temperature. I spent a week there. I don't really know. Like, I definitely didn't have the Zika virus, but I had some sort of virus. I never got like diagnosed with anything. But geez, I was in bed for a week, shivering. Then I'd be sweating, hallucinating at times. Like, I remember, I think I was actually at the back of your block. There was like a spare room, like with a kitchen sink and that outside. So I think it was where the swimmers were. You probably didn't even know I was in there for a few days. There was probably a sign like saying "Do not enter."
There was,
outside my door, like, and like I remember looking out, like when I was well enough after a couple of days to get up, and there was like this small little window, and I just looked out, and I had like in my head, I felt like I was on like a cargo ship out at sea or something like that. It was just really strange, like, but yeah, it was a strange experience. So I missed the opening ceremony because I was sick. I was doing track racing at the time. I missed my track race in the stadium, which would have been a great kind of experience in that atmosphere. Let's just say I got to compete in the marathon. Like, I was still on antibiotics and I wasn't feeling well at all still. And then I missed the closing ceremony because my event is on the last day. So I was back trying to pack while people went to the closing ceremony. So it wasn't a great experience, but I don't know. I definitely wouldn't take it away from me anyway. I actually remember thinking, like, you just never know, like, with Paralympic sport. Like, if that was any other event, I would have been like, I'm not competing, like, I'm not well enough. But I kind of thought, like, it might be my only chance, so I have to, like, kind of finish the race, like. And then, like, I was even thinking last year, like, geez, if Tokyo doesn't happen, like, it definitely wasn't a bad decision, like, to keep going. But luckily now things are a lot better and we're getting a game. So, yeah, and I'd say when you see me, I probably still look pretty shook up. I was shook up when I got home. Like, it was, it would just happen to me. So, yeah, it was pretty rough.
So it wasn't the ideal prep and it wasn't the ideal games experience, but you've got it nearly prepared you for these games, and then the heat training that you're doing is also getting you in great shape. So what is your goal for Tokyo?
My goal for Tokyo, I don't really know. Being honest, like I think a medal is probably outside my capability, and like I don't like win, but like I'm probably like I'm in a mixed class, like, so I am T53, but I could possibly be the only T53 in the race, like maybe two of us, like, so I'm at a disadvantage, but like it's not just that, like there's obviously like supreme athletes in that as well. I just want to go give it. I have to get picked first of all, anyway. Give it my best shot. Know that I've done like the likes of the heat chamber and that, like I've prepared as well as I can and leave it all out there. Like, I know it's going to be absolutely grueling, like, and I know there's going to be guys that won't finish the race, but I know I won't give up. Like, I think that's my big strength mentally, like, and I think my accent like kind of embedded that in me, like that I'll never give up. So I'm hoping, lads, just especially maybe the top guys just give up out in the course and I can keep going. But like it's small margins, like probably with in your events as well, Ellen. Like, I'm generally like there to the last mile in the big marathons, and then just like with the kick that some of the guys have, I don't have it. Like, partly down to maybe disability, and like partly down to just I don't have that speed in my arm. So you never know. Like, it's probably 2 years since I've competed nearly now, and a lot of guys are in the same boat because it's like it's mass participation. Like, there's been nothing happening bar like trials for different nationalities that have a good few guys competing for them. So there's a lot of uncertainties. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit worried about like the heat and the humidity, like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, relish it, and just give it my best. Like, so I'd love to say bringing home a medal, like, but I don't know how realistic that is for me. But I'll definitely like give it my all in that, and that's like, I don't know, that's all any athlete can really ask for. And if that's good enough for a medal for like the top athletes, like brilliant. But I know I'll just give it my best, and I'll be content with that. Like,
that's all anyone can ask for, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. And
do you have any plans for post Tokyo? Are you going to keep training, keep competing, look forward to Paris?
Yeah, I take it, like, the good thing about wheelchair racing is like there's a really good circuit where like it's basically professional. So there's the six major marathons like Tokyo, Boston, Chicago, New York, London, and Berlin, and I compete in them, and you get invited over and all like so. But there's any amount. I said I haven't got a race in 2 years, and then it's going to be an absolute feast after Tokyo, and I think it's going to be it's going to be challenging in Tokyo. So I know some guys are doing loads of marathons like straight after in the fall or in the autumn, but I will do 3 or 4 of them in September. Like I'll do the London Marathon, and then I'll do Chicago, I'll do Dublin, and I'll do New York. But they're kind of spread out. So I'll do that between end of September and November, and then I'll take a break. Building a house as well at the moment, so I'm hoping that will be finished by the time I get back. So like that's what I'm spending all my spare time doing, is like just out on the site now, stressed out my head. So I'm hoping that there'll be still stuff to be done on that. So I probably will take a week or 2 off, but I'll keep going. I like taking my break like in December, because that's kind of when my season usually finishes anyway. So like it's probably a little bit different than some of the sports, but I'll keep going. Then for Paris, like I don't know, geez, I'll be fairly old by then. I'm actually one of the younger guys. Like you're probably looking at me going, what? Because I know swimming is like different, but like some of the guys are like in their 50s and I'm like, fair play to them, like really good. I don't know what I'd be at that age, like, but I like to think I'll be still going, but like I just take it year by year, because I have them 6 marathons and more every year. I look at them and I suppose I have to make sure I'm enjoying it as well. It is getting a little bit more challenging with time, but like I'll make time for it. But
so as long as you're enjoying it, you're going to keep going.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I don't know if I'm going to go off on another tangent here, but like I'm going back to my accident, and it's something that like I never thought I'd like have a sport like that would give me such a freedom, and I don't want to lose that either. Like, so I will. If I ever step back, well, I'm going to step back obviously at some stage. I'm hoping that I'll keep it up. It's not the best sport for healthy shoulders, like, but if I don't do that, I'll hop into something else. Like, so I do love it, like, but I'll keep it going for as long as I can at like an elite level, and then for as long as I can at like recreational, until my shoulders just give up or I'm too fat that I can't fit in my chair.
Well, before all that, Tokyo has to happen. So Pat, when is your event?
My event is on the 5th of September, so it's still quite a bit away. So
but that's what the listeners have to look out for, is the marathon on the 5th of September, is it?
5th of September, I think it's like 7 in the morning. So what's the time difference? Is it 9 hours?
It's plus
9
8.
Hours?
Plus 8.
So it's going to be like 11 o'clock back here on the 4th. Well,
the Irish supporters are the best supporters, and I'm sure everyone will be tuning in for you then. Patrick, I'm going to have to let you go, but thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned to Off the Ball this month for more conversations in this series, with thanks to Toyota and their #StartYourImpossible campaign.